Hello, my name is Ashley Sanguino with the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program. Today is July 14th of 2023, and I'm interviewing Bernita Glass at the Elaine Legacy Center. I'm here with
Vanessa Obando.
And Miss Bernita Glass, if you could state your name and spell it for the record, please.
Bernita Glass, Bernita Glass.
Alrighty, so we'll just start off with a couple of, background questions. So when and where you were born, a little bit about your family background and your history in Elaine.
Okay, well, I was born in Elaine, 1963, November 20th of 1963, to the late Beatrice and Johnny Scaife. They were my parents. They also were natives of this area as well. I went to school actually here in Elaine part of the time. My father was he worked on farms, so he moved back and forth a couple of times between here in Elaine, Arkansas, and Tunica, Mississippi. So I spent some time in Tunica, Mississippi, and then some time here in Elaine, Arkansas.
And what was it like growing up in Elaine?
Growing up in Elaine was much different than it is now when I was growing up. My dad actually lived on farms, and we came to town on Saturdays, which was the highlight of our life then, because and then the town was not bigger, but it had more people in it, and it had more businesses in it. So it wasn't a bad life. Could have been better, but it was okay.
Yeah, so could you give us a little bit more background on this land that we discussed last year in your interview with us?
Okay, now the land my parents purchased, I can't remember the exact year that they purchased it, but it's in what we call the quarters. They purchased the land and they put a trailer on it, and they lived there for a while, and then they purchased a house in Barton, and they moved. So they took the trailer off the land. So when they passed, that land was heired to me and my siblings.
Mm-hmm. And you have 4 other siblings?
I have 4 other siblings, 2 sisters and a brother, Johnny Jr. and Glenn Scaife, and 2 sisters, Sandra Byrne and Sheila Scaife. Mm-hmm. So the property was heired to us. And when the city decided that they wanted to purchase all of that land in that area to put a park on it, okay, they approached me. And I talked to my siblings, and they said, okay, sure, we will sell it. At that particular time, Pondexter Pfizer was the mayor. And when I guess they looked at it about getting a title, one of my sisters had a lien against them. So they suggested that it was put in one of our other name other than the sister with the lien, so that they could get a clear title. Okay, I paid an attorney, and I had that done. And when I went back to them and told them that, okay, the property is now in my name, and I was told that, well, right now we don't think that that's a good idea. After that's what they told me to do. Okay, fine. I just went on about my business. But between there and here, I got sick. I had a rare type of leukemia that I was told I had 3 months to live. That was in 2014. Mm-hmm. As you see, I am still here. Things worked out, God blessed, and He totally delivered me from the rare type of leukemia that I have. And I came down to Elaine after that, and I said, they put everything on my property anyway. After you told me, now I was also told that before I sold it to them, that if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to do anything with it. Because I don't know whether it was because they put the park there and it would be in the middle of it or what, I don't know. But I was told I wouldn't be able to do anything with it. But when I come down and I discovered that the park was still on my property, I went to go to the city council meeting one night. I was turned around. Council members at that particular time seen the mayor turn me around. Tommy Cravens was the mayor at that time. And the next day, he went to the courthouse because he thought that it was all belonging to the city. I know he went because someone from the courthouse called me. And he was told, no, the city does not own all of that property that the park is on. Bernita Glass has a lot in that. And then the next day, he called me and asked me if I would be willing to donate my property to the city of Elaine. And of course, my answer was, no, I'm not willing to donate anything to the city of Elaine. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then I waited to hear back from him, and that did not happen. So time passed, I went to the city council meeting again, and I presented them with two options. I told them they could buy my property and pay me for the rent that they've been on it, or you could pay me for the rent that you've been on it and pay me and my ancestors for the rest of my life if I don't sell it to you. Mm-hmm. Okay, now that's been a battle with the city ongoing for the last couple of years. I've been put off, and I've been told to get a title, go to the title company, do this and do that, show me this and show me that, till I've gotten sick and tired of it. But at the last city council meeting that I presented, I told them, I gave them all of the information that they requested when they requested it. Mm-hmm. And I said, and now I've given you the title to where it shows you it belongs to me and it's in my name, and there is no reason you can't get a title. Mm-hmm. So I was told that, okay, we're satisfied now with you showing and proving that this is your property. Then we just gonna throw you a few measly coins and you accept that. I said, no, I don't want that. Then first she said, the attorney said, well, the city don't have to pay the back rent according to, what is it, municipal league. But then at the end of the meeting, she said, I misunderstood that. I didn't misunderstand that. That's what she said, that the city, there were loopholes to where the city wouldn't have to pay. I said, well, until you can show me legal proof from the municipal league saying that the city don't have to pay me back rent for the time that you've been on my property. Then they said, well, okay, well, we'll pay the taxes for the past years and throw you a few measly coins. No, that's not what I want either. After you put me through, I won't say what they put me through, but you know what they put me through. All of this time, it should be where I can make you pay me pain and suffering for everything that you put me through. But I did not. I could also go back to charge interest on what I want for that time. I did not do that. I'm I'm just asking you to pay me rightfully what belongs to me.
Of course. And so this last city hall meeting that you're referring to, when was this?
It was last month.
Last month.
I was supposed to go to this meeting. I'm on the council meeting. I've been on the council meeting back and forth, so that's money. I live in West Helena, driving from there to here. But I'm on this meeting. I am going to present to them once again the same figures that I gave them from the beginning. This is what I expect. This is what I want.
And this has been going on since 2008, correct?
2008, yes. So that's 15 years.
Could you talk about what the current state of the park is?
Well, I don't really, because I hadn't been over there, but they do have equipment over there in the park where it is. You've never seen it? Oh, you need to go and visit my park.
Yes, your park.
My park. Dr. Olson said we need to rename it my name, but I said no. But she asked me if they would rename it after my parents. Would I accept that? I don't know. And that would be a dedication to them. But I don't think the city would be willing to do that either. But I don't know. But it's still in pretty good shape. It has the equipment there for the kids to play on, and it has the basketball goals. It's still nicely done.
So, knowing and understanding the context of, and the cultural significance and historical significance of Black land ownership, what does this situation with the city hall really mean to you? How does this affect you on a personal level?
On a personal level, to me, it's still saying that they're still living back in yesteryear. Mm-hmm. But I'm not willing to roll over and play dead and say, okay, forget it, you could have it. Maybe that was the idea of dragging it out the way that it's been drug out. She'll give up, she'll quit. No, my parents worked too hard for me to just give it up. Mm-hmm. I'm not willing just to say, and then, of course, somebody might say, well, then the mayors before they were white. Mm-hmm. We have a Black mayor now, but no difference. So,
could you tell us a little bit more about your parents and, their struggle to be able to get this land in the first place?
Now, as I stated before, my dad worked on farms. So in this area, that's basically for a African American. If you're not going to school and leaving here, that's the only type of job, a job that, that's the biggest thing going here. You're going to drive tractors, work on a farm. And if the lady don't want to go to school and move out, you're just going to stay at home, marry somebody that works on a farm. Or, you're going to live in public housing and be content with that. But my dad worked on farms all of his life till he died. And he died in 2001. We moved to the city. We was on the outskirts and on the farm, but we moved to the city, and I can't remember. I graduated in 81. So it had to be in 82 that we moved here to the city of Elaine. Mm-hmm. My dad left that farm and he got a trailer from a friend that he put on their lot. They had it on a lot. And I don't remember the exact year because I had left home. I had married and was in my own home. I don't remember the exact year that they decided that they wanted to purchase. Now, my dad worked and saved his money. It took him a while to get the money that he needed in order to purchase the land and the trailer. So that, and again, to me, it speaks volume. He worked hard to get that money. To just give it away? No, I'm not willing to do that. Now, my mom She worked some. She was kind of sickly. She had diabetes and she had heart problems. To whereas, later on, and when she was young, she worked with those health issues. But when she got older, she was not able to work with those health issues. So that left everything, for my dad to do. So yes, he had to work and save the money to get that. And once he did that, because when he stopped working, he wanted to have his own property, to whereas when you're living on the farm, if you're in the farmhouse of that farmer, if you have a dispute with him, guess what? You don't have anywhere to live because he's going to put you out. So he wanted his own, to where if he did not want to work for that farmer, he did not have to. So there and again, that was something that motivated him to obtain his own property. He purchased the land and he purchased a trailer from Miss Lenora Marshall. I don't know if you all talked to her, but she was the one that they purchased the trailer from. She was a very good friend of the family, still is. So when they purchased the trailer and put it on that lot, that gave my dad pride, something to be proud of. That was his. That was a big accomplishment for him. He had his own property, something his parents, they did not do. Until my grandmother did. He owned his own house and land in Elaine.
And so this land is also shared, or inherited by your siblings as well. Do they still live in Elaine?
No. One sister lives in Helena. I have a sister and a brother that lives in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And I have one brother that lives in Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
So what does, retaining this land or, being able to fight for some sort of your rightful ownership of this land mean to you and your siblings?
Now, just because I put it in my name, that was a decision that we all came to.
Yeah.
I still say that it belongs to all of us. Whatever is given or whatever is obtained for the land, I still will split with them, because it was not me taking it from them. It was just doing this so that we could sell it and do what needed to be done. But that did not happen. But no, they still are, they're still there. My two sisters have come and supported me. They've come to a couple of the city council meetings. Now, oh my goodness, the meeting before, not last month, the meeting before that, the whole city almost of Elaine supported me. There was not standing room in that room that night of the people that showed up to say that I'm in support of Bernita Glass for you being, paying her for this land, where a lot of times it's been said that I support, I am working for the people. I am doing them. The people said pay me. Now, if you're working for the people, then if the people said pay me, why can't you pay me? Mm-hmm. Not the people, is it?
Yeah.
So, but that was awesome. That was in the paper. There was not standing room in that room of those people that supported. But no, and then I have the one brother. He's kind of bedridden, so he can't come.
Mm. Do you think that everybody showing out for you at that city hall meeting, do you think that put pressure on those local authorities?
I think it did, because the next meeting they said, okay, we accept the fact that this is your property.
Yeah.
After all that you've asked me for and all that I've given to say that, to show you. Now, in the simple fact, the courthouse states it belongs to me. Why should I have to prove that if the courts of Phillips County say that this is my property? But I did.
From what I understand, you've also had to, spend a lot on being able to have access to an attorney and, sort of jump through these hurdles.
Yes, I jumped through all of the hoops that they've asked. I did that. Till I told them I'm tired. I'm not jumping through no more hoops. Mm-hmm. And then at the last meeting, I told them, okay, you've requested all of this of me, then I am requesting this of you, to where you're saying that you don't have to pay me back rent. Then I need that in writing. And I need that from the municipal league or legal author, organization saying that this is not, they don't have to do that. Until then, I expect to be paid back rent. That's just a fact.
What do you think the next step is in this process to be able to, get that sort of, compensation?
Well, I don't know if they'll try to drag it out saying that it takes time for me to get this, saying that I don't have to pay back rent. That might be another thing. I don't know how long that process would take. But I don't see what else they can use. There's nothing else they can use to say why you can't pay me.
Yeah. Why do you think that the city has dragged this out so long and sort of refused to compensate your, right?
The only thing I can believe it was done to hope that I would give up and they wouldn't have to pay at all. Just take it like they've done in the past.
Have you heard of other situations where something similar has occurred?
Well, I can't say that because I don't have proof of that. I have heard it, but I can't say because I don't have proof of it.
Yeah.
But as it was a known fact that a lot of the land belonged to black owners now belong to white owners.
So do you think that, your story and your case that has been going on, that this goes into sort of the larger conversation about Elaine's history with black land ownership?
It should. And like I said, it should start or spark the beginning of something that has been long forthcoming for the city of Elaine. Letting and allowing people to stand up for your rights. Stand up for what you believe in and what you know that belongs to you. And don't just give it up just because somebody say give it up. Like at one city council meeting, I walked up and I grabbed someone's purse and I said, now if I just say, okay, I want this, it's mine, and I'm gonna take it. Now will you not call the police on me to take back what I took that didn't belong to me?
Yeah.
So why is it that my land can be done like that? Because that's what you did. Simple fact.
Yeah.
What are some other ways that you think that the residents of Elaine or the people that have been experiencing this, like stealing of the land, including yourself, could expose this maybe or gain greater traction to put greater pressure on the people?
And I say I can't say or speak for others because I don't really know. But there's always been with older people, they always had a fear of what would be done to them or to their children if they said something or if they did something. I can't say why others let it happen or did not. Some of them may have, it was older people and the children had left here and not come back. Or it was land that was left, and some of it they could have paid just the back taxes on it because there was no children or no one here to stake claim on it. But as far as those that have just allowed it to just be taken, I can't say because no one has voiced it to me. No one has come and said that this was done to me, and I'm glad that you're standing up for it. Now, I have had someone say they know that this was done to a relative, but then again, I can't say because it was not given to me for, at liberty to say that. But it's so many in the community know that this was done to others.
And a lot of people have been talking about how the water crisis has been affecting the entire community. What are some ways that the water crisis has contributed to affecting your land or the use of pesticides around here? Has there been any direct effect to your land?
But at that, to that, I cannot say because, see, I don't have anything on my property to have water for.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't, for me, it has not affected. And then the land is not directly close to a field to where the pesticides are sprayed or chemicals are put down on. So it's not that close to the fields to where I could say that that's on my property either.
From what I understood of, your past interview and sort of our conversation, your hope for this land now is more to receive compensation than it is to, make use or use something on the land. Do you think that had the city been more productive in just being able to grant you, the rights to your land and not having built the park on it, would you and your family or your siblings have built something on that land? Do you think that that sort of behavior from the city kind of impedes on, those Black residents who want to use the land that they have available to them?
Well, no, I can't say that I would foresee me coming back to Elaine.
Yeah.
Because as you can see, there's not a whole lot in the city of Elaine for me to come back to.
Yeah.
Or for me to say that I could put a business or something on it and benefit from it. Because there again, it's not a lot of hope.
Yeah.
To put something in, to put money into something and then be not afraid to lose it. Mm-hmm. So, and then I don't have a whole lot of money to invest in something like that, but we did at one time, well, that was recently. They said, well, just put something on it, build something on it, or put a food truck on it and sell stuff off of it. I don't have that kind of money to do that either. So I don't see me first saying that we wanted to build something on it. Now, it could have been that we may have put a house on it and rented it. Yeah. No, we may have done that.
Right. And that would have probably been a great source of income.
It would have. It would have.
Could you elaborate a little bit more on the sort of sentiment that I think we've seen expressed in quite a bit of our interviews regarding Elaine? It's sort of a loss of hope and sort of, many people leaving and not many businesses, not many institutions or anything to support community or support life. Could you just elaborate a little bit more on what that's like and how that affects your view of this community?
How I feel?
Yeah.
It's sad. It saddens my heart to see the city or the town where I was raised and see that everything, when I come back, there's yet another building that's been torn down. I mean, to explain when I left and the time span I was sick and then when I came back, I felt almost like I came to a ghost town. It's just, you see on the Western movies where everything is closed up and little stuff is rolling through the track. It wasn't that bad, but, it just, my heart sunk because everything was gone. And now we have a $1 store and we have one little fast food place. And then we have the hardware store. When I was growing up, coming to Elaine was the highlight on Saturdays. Asking, can I walk uptown? That was awesome. I got to walk uptown. But now you walk uptown, you can walk on through town and there's no excitement. It's sad. And if it is something that could be done to revitalize it, I would be all for it.
How do you think this these effects that have been clearly seen in the town, how do you think this impacts the youth of Elaine?
The first, they don't have any intent on staying because there's nothing to keep them here. There's no job for them to go through, because most young men now, they don't want to drive tractor. They don't want to work on a farm. They want quick, fast, quick, and in a hurry money. Mm-hmm. And unless it's illegally done, it's not going to be done here.
Yeah.
So the first thought, and when I was working as director for a Head Start program, I had to do assessment, community assessments of the areas that we served, and this was one of them. The outward migration that community assessment showed was sad. It was sad because you had immediately when kids graduate, they were leaving because they could not support a family here. So the population was steadily declining. I saw that. That was back when I did those community assessments, and that was before 2012.
And I can imagine it's only gone
Worse.
yeah.
The numbers have steadily decreased from the population inside of the town. And you don't see a whole lot of young people. The Head Start program that was here is no longer here when I was director because they don't have the babies in the community to support that program. Mm-hmm. It's no longer here.
What do you think, what kind of resources do you think would be necessary in order to be able to draw back life to Elaine?
I don't know. They have to do something to put the businesses back, but in order for the businesses to come back, there's going to have to be people in order to support the business. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what could you say that will come or put the resources in this area. But now to put businesses in this area and for that business to survive, it's going to have some people to support that business.
What do you think is lacking of the leadership in Elaine to be able to, take better charge of this community?
I don't even know how to answer that question. But, since I am a landowner in this community, but I don't live in this community. I live in West Helena. I moved to West Helena when gas prices got to be $4. I think it was $4.25 a gallon. Wow. And I was working in West Helena. My oldest daughter was living with us. She was working in West Helena, and my husband was working in West Helena because the jobs were not here for us to work here. And we added up the cost that we were spending on gas. That was 2 more house notes because she drove an SUV, I drove an SUV, and my husband drove a Ram. The money that we spent on gas. So that was why we moved, and I can't say that somebody else will come back when I left. So, but as far as the leadership, I'd have to say no comment.
You mentioned your daughter. How old is she?
She's 42 now.
Yeah. I'm presuming that your family, including your daughter, they no longer reside in Elaine.
No. I have 3 children. Mm-hmm. I have 2 daughters and 1 son. My son lives in Conway, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. The oldest lives in Horn Lake, Mississippi. And the youngest, my baby daughter, actually, she lives in West Helena where I live, probably about a block from me. Mm-hmm. I have 5 granddaughters and 2 grandsons. The 5 granddaughters, I brought them and showed them all of the areas that I lived in growing up and where their parents lived. They thought, Granny, that's sad. But I just wanted them to see. I took them to some of the farms that my dad worked on, and then I took them to the areas, some of the areas where their parents lived. The houses are no longer there. Mm-hmm. But that was where I showed them where they lived. So, but now compared to where they live, they're able to go to the store. They don't want to come down here and visit. Because they said, Granny, we have no service on our phone, and you know that's it. That's their lifeline. Their little electronic devices. Yeah. They come down, no internet to the service. When we going? When we leaving? How long? How much longer? They don't want to come.
How would you have described Elaine to your grandchildren? You know, when it was like you had.
No, I did describe to them. You know, it was. We were happy, you know, glad to come to town, living in Elaine. Now, their parents always lived in the town, in the city of Elaine. And, you know, their school, we took them or they walked. There was no bus running from the quarters where we lived to school. And, you know, and I actually brought them here and showed them, because my children actually went to this school as well. So they just thought it's nothing like what they're used to.
Yeah.
It's very different.
How does it make you feel that this school, along with other local schools, are beginning to close at a rapid rate?
I mean, when this first started, it made me very angry, because I was actually on the school board before the process started of you having to have a certain amount of students to go to a school or we're gonna close it down. And looking at what they've done with the closing of these schools, I still say, if this school would not have closed, Elaine wouldn't be in the shape it's in. Because this school provided jobs for a lot of residents in this area. This school, just the school being in this town, it provided activities for the youth to do in the afternoon or in the evening, to do, you know, the extracurricular activities. In closing the schools down because of a certain number, that should not have never happened. Because you look in the state of Arkansas, there are a lot of small towns that have died just because you closed that school system. And now kids are bused a long way from home to go to school. If my kid, if I was a parent, there is no way in heck that my kid would go to a school that far away. I'd homeschool before I did that. But no, I think that was. Well, I guess I won't have a word to say that's nice for what that done to our community.
So we've talked a lot about kind of the path of which Elaine has gone down, essentially, in its closing of schools, the lack of resources, you know, and of course through the lens of your specific case and them denying, you know, your rightful compensation to your land. But in terms of a lighter note, is there anything in this community that gives you a sense of hope in terms of community leadership, or, you know, community leaders that give you a sense that with the right resources, Elaine could head back in the right direction?
Well, I don't really, like I said, I'm not here to see all of what's done and what they do and how they do it. Mm-hmm. So that, you know, I don't have a whole lot to say on that part because I don't know. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I believe that there's always hope until there's nothing there. So I won't say that there's not hope. There is hope. I believe if there is enough resources that are pulled together and pulled in, that it can be. If everything is used as it should be used in that perspective.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get certain things, and if it's not done right, then guess what? That's going to come to nothing.
Absolutely.
Because they didn't use it right. So, I don't know.
Alrighty, so we've spoken a lot about, again, the development of Elaine and where it's at now, and, some of the updates to your specific case with your land here. Is there anything else that you'd like to add or say that we didn't get a chance to talk about before we wrap up the interview?
Well, no, not well. The only thing that I would say is that, in all of my upbringing, my parents have, they raised my siblings and myself to always be polite, even to those that, as the Bible said, have despitefully misused you. Mm-hmm. I've turned that other cheek so many times. I'm tired of turning that other cheek, and I'm almost wanting to say to God, how many times you want me to turn this other cheek? But I know he said continually to turn the other cheek. So my prayer is that he give them a good heart to do the right thing and not just continually to shove this under the rug.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for taking the time to interview with us today. It's been very enlightening to hear your perspective and some updates on this story.
Right.
Really hoping the best for you and your compensation and, getting justice for this piece of land.
All right. I thank you very much for considering my information helpful.
Thank you. Alrighty.
That was nice.